In a small village nestled deep in Edo State, Nigeria, there lived a community that had never heard of God or His love. This village was led by a cunning priest named Sonny. The villagers lived in fear of the native priest, who filled their hearts with lies and kept them in darkness. He told them that he controlled their fates and could curse them if they disobeyed. The villagers believed him and lived in great bondage, thinking this was the best life they could ever have, though they were never truly happy. One bright morning, something extraordinary happened. A man named Pastor John, an evangelist, arrived in the village. He carried with him a book the villagers had never seen before, the Holy Bible. Pastor John spoke with a warm smile and a kind heart. He gathered the villagers under the big Iroko tree at the center of the village and began to share a story they had never heard. He told them about Jesus, the Son of God, who came to the world to redeem people from their sins. He spoke of Jesus' love, His miracles, and the great sacrifice He made by dying on the cross to save humanity. Pastor John explained that anyone who believed in Jesus would be saved and experience a transformed life. At first, the villagers were confused. How could this man they had never heard of before offer them something better than what Sonny had given them? But Pastor John's words were filled with hope and a promise of a brighter future. Slowly, their hearts began to stir with curiosity and a longing for something more. Sonny soon learned about Pastor John's teachings and grew furious. He stormed into the village square, his face twisted with anger. The villagers trembled as he approached Pastor John, who stood his ground with calm confidence. "Leave this village at once," Sonny shouted. "These people belong to me." Pastor John looked at Sonny with unwavering eyes and replied, "These people do not belong to you. They belong to Jesus. They are God's people, and they deserve to know the truth." Sonny's fury grew each day as more villagers gathered to hear Pastor John speak about the love and power of Jesus Christ. Determined to reclaim his control, Sonny devised a sinister plan to turn the villagers against the evangelist. He decided to poison the village's only source of water, the river that flowed near the village. One night, under the cover of darkness, Sonny crept to the river and poured a toxic concoction into the water. By morning, anyone who drank from the river became violently ill. Panic spread through the village like wildfire. The villagers, who had just begun to find hope in Pastor John's words, were now filled with fear and despair once more. Pastor John quickly realized what had happened. He gathered the sick villagers under the big Iroko tree and began to pray fervently for their healing. As he laid hands on each person, their sickness vanished, and they were restored to health. The villagers were astonished and overjoyed, but Pastor John was not done yet. He led them to the river, knelt by the water's edge, and prayed for God's intervention. As he prayed, the water began to clear, and the river was miraculously purified. Word of the healing and the restored river spread rapidly. Many villagers, witnessing these miracles, chose to believe in Jesus and became followers of Christ. They saw the power of God at work and experienced the love and peace that Pastor John had spoken of. The village began to change, hope was rekindled, and joy returned to their lives. Sonny, enraged by his failure, resorted to more evil schemes to regain his grip on the villagers. He summoned dark forces, cast curses, and spread fear, but each time, Pastor John countered his actions with prayer and faith in God. With each victory, Pastor John's influence grew, and more villagers embraced Christianity, finding peace and strength in their new faith. The village started to transform. Under Pastor John's guidance, the villagers worked together to build a school, providing electricity and also education for their children. They constructed a church where they could gather to worship and learn more about Jesus. They also initiated community projects that improved their living conditions and fostered a sense of unity and purpose. Progress and development began to flourish in the village. The once barren fields started yielding abundant crops, hunger was alleviated, and the villagers enjoyed good health and prosperity. The power of God was evident in every corner of the village, and the people rejoiced in their newfound freedom and happiness. Sonny, seeing his influence dwindling, grew more desperate. He continued to devise ways to disrupt the village's progress, but each time, Pastor John and the villagers responded with prayer and unwavering faith. They believed that no matter what Sonny did, God's love and power would protect and sustain them. The village became an example of hope and faith in the region. People from neighboring villages heard about the miracles and the transformation taking place and came to see for themselves. Many of them, too, embraced Christianity and experienced the love and grace of Jesus Christ. With each passing day, the village grew stronger in faith, unity, and prosperity. The villagers, once trapped in darkness and fear, now lived in the light of God's love, cherishing the freedom and joy that came with knowing Jesus. Pastor John's mission continued as he nurtured this growing community of believers, guiding them in their faith and helping them build a better future for themselves and generations to come. Sonny's anger knew no bounds as he saw his influence over the villagers completely eroded by Pastor John and the transformative power of Christianity. Desperate to put an end to the evangelist's mission, he decided to harm Pastor John, believing that without him, the villagers would fall back under his control. One dark night, Sonny set out for Pastor John's house with a heart full of malice and a mind clouded with evil intent. But as he approached the evangelist's dwelling, something extraordinary happened. A bright light shone from heaven, illuminating the path ahead and blinding Sonny. He was struck down, unable to see or move, crippled by the divine encounter. He lay on the ground, helpless and terrified, realizing that his power was nothing compared to the power of the God Pastor John spoke of. Morning came, and some villagers found Sonny lying on the path, blinded and unable to walk. They were shocked to see their once feared priest in such a state. Unsure of what to do, they decided to take him to Pastor John. They gently carried him to the house where Pastor John resided, laying him at the evangelist's feet. Pastor John looked upon Sonny with compassion. He knelt beside him and prayed earnestly for his healing. As he prayed, the same bright light that had struck Sonny down now seemed to envelop him in warmth and love. Miraculously, Sonny's sight was restored, and he could move again. He looked around, bewildered and overwhelmed by the power and mercy he had just experienced. With tears streaming down his face, Sonny fell to his knees and raised his hands in surrender. "I have been wrong," he confessed. "There is only one true God, and Jesus Christ the Son of God, is the way, the truth, and the life. I have seen His power and His love, and I want to follow Him." The villagers watched in awe as Sonny, the man who had once filled their lives with fear and darkness, now repented and embraced the very faith he had tried to destroy. Pastor John helped him to his feet, and together they walked to the village square. There, in front of the gathered villagers, Sonny apologized for all the pain and deception he had caused. "I have led you astray," Sonny said, his voice trembling with emotion. "But now I see the truth. Jesus Christ is the only way, the only truth, and the life. I ask for your forgiveness and urge you to follow him, for he is the light of the world and the only source of true life and freedom." The villagers, moved by Sonny's sincere repentance and the miraculous events they had witnessed, welcomed him into their community of believers. Sonny, once a symbol of oppression, now became a humble servant of God, dedicated to spreading the message of Jesus' love and redemption. Under Pastor John's continued guidance, the village thrived even more. The village church and school flourished, and new projects were initiated to improve the quality of life for everyone. Sonny, now a fervent follower of Christ, worked alongside Pastor John and the villagers, using his former influence to bring even more people to the faith. With Sonny's transformation and repentance, the entire village came together in unity and faith. Every villager, having witnessed the miracles and the undeniable power of God's love, believed in Jesus Christ and became devoted followers of him. The village experienced a profound peace, unlike anything they had ever known before. Pastor John continued to nurture this growing community, teaching them how to serve God in spirit and truth. Under his guidance, the villagers saw unprecedented progress and development. The fields were more fertile than ever, providing abundant harvests that ensured no one went hungry. The school expanded, offering education to every child, and the church became the heart of the village, where people gathered to worship, pray, and support one another. The villagers, now living as one community of believers, experienced the power of God in their daily lives. They saw healings, blessings, and the constant presence of God's peace. Their days were filled with joy, gratitude, and a sense of purpose. They worked together to build a future for their children, rooted in faith and love. The village, once a place of fear and darkness, had transformed into a beacon of light and hope. The story of their transformation spread far and wide, inspiring other villages and communities to seek the truth and embrace the love of Jesus Christ. The villagers lived happily, serving God with all their hearts and experiencing his blessings in every aspect of their lives. They had learned that true peace and progress come from faith, unity, and the power of God's love. The story teaches us that no matter how deep the darkness or how strong the chains of oppression, the light of God's love can bring freedom and transformation. When people open their hearts to Jesus and serve him in spirit and truth, they experience true peace and joy. Unity in faith can lead to unimaginable progress and development, turning even the most hopeless situations into testimonies of God's power and grace. If you like this video and want more, like this video, comment, share and subscribe. God bless you richly.